to Nerdmageddon.
Welcome to Nerdmageddon, everybody.
Are we picking captain names now? Because we already did.
Well,
I don't want to have too many names going on.
Well, see, here's the thing. Mine was captain, but I didn't come up with mine. It was actually Court who gave me mine.
And
so,
yours is just a rip off of a cereal. So
No. Captain Kangaroo is like
I'm
a real thing.
Familiar with Captain Kangaroo.
It was a good show, honestly. And
it was.
He just had to die. But we got a lot of great stuff for you guys for this show, particularly.
Speaking of death.
Speaking of
oh
death.
my, that should never be a segue ever.
I don't even know what the first topic is. So.
No, well, it's actually Post Malone.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. Yeah.
Well, Post Malone just released a new album.
Interesting.
Thank you for this segue. It's Hollywood's Bleeding, and it honestly
and possibly dead.
Possibly dead. Yes. Post Malone's new album from 2019, Hollywood's Bleeding, was released. It's a 17-track, 51-minute album, and it's pretty good. It really is like some of his best work yet. Who all is in it? Well, we got...
Who all is in it, Will?
Who is all in it? It is the Baby, Future, Halsey, Meek Mill, Lil Baby, Ozzy Osbourne, which is the best track possibly on the album,
I believe
in my opinion, because it's Ozzy Osbourne and he agreed to something that wasn't like stupid. Then there was Travis Scott, Swa Lee, and Young Thug, and that last one was pretty good. That last track was pretty awesome. My personal favorites on this, I really liked Enemies, featuring the Baby. Circles is obviously topping the charts. I believe it's number 7 on the Billboard Top 100 right now. And then Die For Me, which was featuring Future and Halsey. Those are probably my favorite tracks so far. Each are around like 3 or 4 minutes long, but it's gotten some pretty good reviews. Pitchfork just put out a video about it. It was mostly positive, and it's gotten a lot of good feedback, especially on Spotify, where it's basically dominating some of the U.S. charts right now. Pretty interesting stuff, because I personally didn't get into Post Malone super hard back in 2017, 2018, when he was really trying to take off and he was going on tours and stuff. Actually, at this school, there was like a possible rumor that he was actually gonna like perform here or something like that. But those rumors are always like a thing, though. Like at this school, at this place. So I don't know.
Northwest.
It could
Here
still happen.
Specifically.
Yes, school. And then,
I think I remember hearing about that.
Oh, there's been like a couple people though, because like Khalid allegedly was supposed to, but I really doubt that ever happened.
I had a teacher in high school that told me about the time that Coolio performed here, and they were going door to door at the dorms, knocking on doors, trying to give away the tickets.
Yeah, Coolio was a pretty interesting story, and I don't really know when that was, but I mean, I'd go see Coolio if he was here.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, what are you talking about?
That's worth
awesome.
Gangsta's Paradise, like just that alone.
I would to be in like the front row of a Coolio concert now would be pretty cool. I mean, like depending on what tickets would be, I'm pretty sure that'd be awesome. But Post Malone, and he's just gotten done with the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse single Sunflower with Swa Lee. That obviously dominated the charts. I'm pretty sure it's still probably on a couple of charts, maybe in the top 50 or 100. So that's pretty awesome. And then everybody knows the song Congratulations, which has got the probably most fun music video I've seen in a while. So Post Malone is still doing some great stuff in his world. Do you guys listen to Post Malone?
Yeah.
Or any like rap music in general?
I do not. Rap is not really my thing.
I didn't think you guys
No,
would
no,
be.
I like Post Malone and Future, and I was going through that list of features that you had, and there were definitely a few on there that I was like, oh, I want to hear that. Post Malone's not like somebody I follow religiously, but he's enough like other artists I like that he's definitely within my circle of thought. So I didn't know he'd come out with a new album. I'll have to check it out.
Absolutely.
I've been in a weird Kanye phase lately.
And then speaking of things that are great, I believe I have Kingdom Hearts next on the list that we would like to discuss.
Kingdom Hearts Remind. And boy, I don't know what's going on.
What is going on?
As per usual with Kingdom Hearts, I have no idea what I looked at the whole trailer. There's DLC. It's coming out for Kingdom Hearts 3. And so spoilers from here on out. At the end of the game, when you beat it on challenge mode, after the credits. So when you're playing the game, there's the Toy Story world. And Rex in the world is like obsessed with a video game. And it's like, because Square makes the games, it's like this Final Fantasy parody. It's called like something Rex. And it's got this guy with spiky white hair and one red eye and one blue eye being all anime and stuff.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, Sora goes off to look for Kairi's heart and kind of gets lost in the ether. After the credits, he wakes up in what is very clearly supposed to be real-world Tokyo. It's got like very iconic landmarks around there that are just sort of like I think there's like a 636 building that in that world it's like 737 or something. And that's a big deal because even in like the world that Sora starts in Destiny Island, that's never supposed to be taken as like quote unquote real life. But Sora wakes up on the streets of real life Tokyo, and the first person he sees is the character from the video game that Rex was playing. And that blew my mind because I was like, what is this? This DLC, nothing to do with that. It looks like they're doing the standard Kingdom Hearts thing, which, so when they go back and do, their HD remixes and stuff, they will add in cutscenes after the fact that retroactively make the story make more sense or tie it in with another game that they released. And they will also go through and like add in like hard modes for boss battles or like secret bosses and stuff like that. And it looks like this DLC is just like a redo of parts of the last third of the game, but they're going to let you play as Roxas and they're going to let you unlock new Keyblades and a new transformation and some stuff like that. So, as usual, I have no idea what the heck is going on, but Sora, Donald, and Goofy are there, and they're letting you play as Roxas, and Aqua's there, and people are swinging big old keys around, and you know what? I'll see. We'll see. They're talking about this. Kingdom Hearts 3 technically was supposed to wrap everything up, and it did for the most part, regardless of how you feel about it, but they did leave like a couple of things open for a sequel. I'm starting to see stuff now about how this is the third wave of Kingdom Hearts games, that we're going to see spin-offs and sequels and stuff like we used to again, which is frustrating because it took us like 10 years for Kingdom Hearts 2 to make any sense whatsoever, and now 3 is out, and they're like, let's deliver some more plot holes and inconsistencies that we can take 9 games to retcon.
Do you know much about the Tokyo Game Show that they were... that was like one of the first articles that I pulled up where it was before... It drops ahead of the Tokyo Game Show. Is that like a big thing in the gaming world?
Yeah, it's a very big deal. I don't know a whole lot about the Tokyo Game Show, unfortunately. I know a lot more about like American video game stuff. But yeah, no, the Tokyo Game Show is a really big deal. That's where you're going to see like... I'm pretty sure like there are like Zelda trailers that have dropped at that and stuff like Nintendo kind of does their own thing now, but Tokyo Game Show is a really big event and it's been going since like the 80s. So
I don't think I ever got the chance to play Kingdom Hearts 3. I've played the first 2 and they've been like, all right. It's mostly just like a game that I have like at a friend's house or something, and then we're just like, you know what? Like let's play as Goofy for a little bit, Let's get Goofy with Goofy.
They're wonderful art pieces, and they're really, really funny. As far as like games go, they hit all sorts of different places on my list. But it's Disney and Square. So if you just go in, you're like, none of this is gonna make any sense whatsoever. Then they're really fun to just kind of like stay along for the ride and see all the cool particle effects and stuff.
Absolutely.
Disney characters and whatnot.
Have you ever played Kingdom Hearts, Eli?
I have not. So this is essentially public knowledge that I suck at video games.
No.
And
you would not suck at Kingdom Hearts, let me tell you.
You wouldn't suck at Kingdom. Kids play it.
It's not hard to...
It's not too bad.
Here's the thing. My hand-eye coordination is, like, horrifying. And so, like, me and my ADHD brain, the only game that I've been able to complete was Undertale. And that being said, I'm pretty decent at PC games because I've been Like, I've played PC games before, but as soon as you stick a controller in my hands, I don't know what happens. I just get this disconnect between my brain and my hands, and I just don't do nearly as well.
How's your mashing A over and over skill? Congratulations, Kingdom Hearts. Point yourself at an enemy and then go X, 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 circle X, X, X. Okay, it's over.
We call that in the business yeeting it out. So you just gotta yeet.
I'll let you speak for that.
And that's the thing. So I actually do very much enjoy video games. I like how they look. Some of the stuff that I've seen on Kingdom Hearts isn't really a thing that I pay attention to all that much. But from the trailers and animation stuff that I have seen, it's pretty decent. But again, that's from the very limited exposure that I've had to it. But I do enjoy video games. I like looking at them. I actually form a duo with one of my roommates. He plays the video game while I look up the lore and the information, and like I essentially by the end of the game know more about the story and like how to actually beat the game than he does, but he also is way more talented at playing video games than I am. So we are currently doing a run through of Bloodborne. And then once we actually move, I think I'm going to get, because he has a PS4, I'm going to get the remake of God of War 4 and, what was the other one? Shadow of the Colossus, because I've always wanted to play that.
That's a really good game.
And he said, well, it's going to tick you off. And I'm like, oh, I know, because that one is very, like, finicky controls and whatnot. But I've always wanted to play it. And so he said that one was going to be all me. And so we'll just see how many times I die.
Righteous.
I wrote my senior paper about that game. Let me ask you something about that's probably a little more on your radar. Have you been keeping up with Final Fantasy VII Remake stuff?
No, not too much. Again, it's kind of where it's just, oh, okay, that's happening.
I probably should be, because Final Fantasy VII is probably my favorite game out of the series, but I'm not really.
I think it looks really good. Yeah. I was almost to the point where I was even sort of like hoping it was dead. I was like, just don't even do it. And all of the they just put out a trailer recently. It looks really good.
Nice. Speaking of things that are up and coming in the media world, we have the Stephen King famous novel, The Stand, which was a great miniseries back in 1990, starring Molly Ringwald and others. Gary Sinise from Of Mice and Men, and he played Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump. Well, they're making a new thing, and that's just awesome because I've actually been waiting for this for a long time. Back in 2014, CBS Films, they were talking about developing an adaptation of Stephen King's The Stand, and now the cast of that said miniseries has come to life. It's got a great cast: James Marsden, Amber Heard, Whoopi Goldberg, Greg Kinnear, Odessa Young, and Harry Zaga. All pretty great, for the roles. Whoopi Goldberg, I'm pretty sure, is going to play the main old lady. It's been a long time since I've read the book, so but she was introduced yesterday as being one of the characters. And then Alexander Skarsgård will play Randall Flagg, the antagonist of basically that group. If you don't know the last name Skarsgård, well, Bill Skarsgård plays Pennywise the clown in Stephen King's It, and so this is basically his brother playing another antagonist of another Stephen King thing. It looks like it's going to be CBS All Access, so we might need to get that subscription or something like that. But I honestly I'm probably really pumped for this, especially since it's been close to around I believe 20 or 30 years since anything has come out of that. The original Stan book is pretty bloody, and there's a lot of like weird things in there. So it'll be interesting on how further they take this, especially with all the violence and just really like edgy stuff that is Stephen King. So
I've been hoping for sort of a revival of the Stephen King cinematic buffet universe, whatever.
Buffet.
Yeah, because like so many people had so many different miniseries and short films, and so many people had the rights so many different ways. but you could all just kind of lump them into the same time period where you're like, there was It and the Stanley Kubrick's The Shining and The Stand, and then there was some other stuff. And now that It's really big right now, and they were already sort of planting those seeds for those characters that cross between novels and the Stephen King universe, I'm excited to see more modern adaptations of his work.
Right. Yeah, and it's coming. So
and The Stand's a good place to start with that, for sure.
So, like, I haven't read a lot of Stephen King, but one book that I did read in high school was, I think it was called Dreamcatcher. And that book, like, wrecked me in high school. I don't even know why they had it in there, honestly. But I just remember reading it, and so you were like, wow, lots of violence. And I was like, well, yeah, from what I remember, like, that is just
Stephen
running
King
rampant.
had a lot of good stuff.
That was what turned me off to the Dark Tower series. Was a scene where he's with like this little kid that has been, they're actually in like a world between worlds, and so the kid's dead, and he recounts what it's like to be run over by a car when you're a child, and I was like,
Wicked.
No thanks, never mind, I didn't want to know.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Well, speaking of reboots and such, Dark Shadows might be getting a reboot via CW. Is this actually confirmed?
I don't know.
Dark Shadows?
Oh, that must have been Corey.
Oh, that must have been Corey's.
That's
okay.
not my thing.
Well, they're gone. So Dark Shadow.
I
for
can
those
tell
of
you that Dark Shadows is a terrible film.
It was okay when it came out.
terrible.
I guess that it
Okay.
is confirmed for the CW. I believe is just a series.
Yes.
Okay.
That'll
Just
be more interesting.
gets
I
New
guess.
Blood with sequel series in the works.
Sequel series,
That
not a
sounds
reboot.
fun. Yeah. Okay.
That sounds terrible.
No, I think it sounds all right. You know, I think that the weird Johnny Depp movie that came out like a couple years ago. I think that was just to get on all like the vampire gothic phase that was the early 2010s. But I'm always down for like new. The actual Dark Shadow series is
Okay,
not that bad
no,
and
wait.
stuff,
This
so.
is not based on that?
Oh, it's not.
No, I'm asking.
No, so
No.
This is a sequel to the original Dark Shadows.
Dark Shadows from 2000,
Oh,
like
okay,
whatever,
okay.
is actually like. A
I
thing
thought
from
they were
different-
trying to bring back this crappy reboot.
No.
No,
Okay.
so they made a deal. CW made a deal with Warner Bros. Is what I'm finding to develop Dark Shadows Reincarnation, which is an hour-long gothic horror drama based on the 1966 cult classic TV soap opera. So.
Cool. What a surprise. Corey wanted us to talk about a soap opera.
Some people might like really want to see that too, because if it's a cult classic, there's probably a big fan base for it. And speaking of big fan bases for things, we have Attack on Titan, which I have just been getting into very, very seriously, and I'm actually pretty stoked about it. They have new, I have in the notes, they have new derp merch.
Yes.
Is that right?
So after you see this, you may not be able to take the show as seriously as it is, because one thing you will learn about Attack on Titan is the anime is like, wow, death and destruction. And then you get like, you dig deeper into the fandom side of things and stuff just gets really weird.
Well, they have that whole series where it's like Attack on Titan Middle School or whatever.
Yeah, junior high, I think it
Yeah.
is. And that's like a chibi animated thing. But this is not quite like that. So it's by Swimmy Design Labs. They have done unique interpretations of Gintama and Astro Boy, Detective Conan, and Minky Momo. So they're a really there's no other word except for unique
Nice.
aesthetic design. It's kind of like a meme sort of style, but they did a take of Attack on Titan, and there's like this line poster, which I can show you here in a second, but then they take all of the characters and put them on things. So like bags and buttons and stickers and whatnot. And they are very entertaining. So this is that,
boy. Yeah.
that poster design,
looks about
which
right.
is very interesting to say the
Neat.
least.
Yeah.
And I think if you see that, then you know exactly what the fandom is like in comparison to the anime. So it was just something that I saw, and it made me kind of laugh. So,
I actually think the series is pretty dope, and I really want to watch more of it, but I'm on like 5 different animes all at the same time, so that's pretty fun.
That's the best place to be right there. No,
For
there's
sure, honestly.
I believe the next season that is either coming out or like currently or is in the works is the last season that will come out, which actually makes me kind of happy that there is an end, considering they've been like, hey, basement, and then they've just been dragging out the basement for so long,
So
and then
does
they
that-
get to the basement.
Does that mean they're going to catch up with the manga soon, or that they're going to end it before?
I honestly think they're going to end it before, like, where...
I hate that.
Yeah, I know. It kind of makes it seem like it's going to make a different ending, so I'm not quite sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, I hate that.
That sounds pretty good. This last story that we have, it is the person who had after tongue cancer.
Yes.
Does anybody know?
So, I was the one who actually showed this to Corey, because it was about an anime that she watches. I mean, granted, I just got started on it, but
I
you
believe
might
it
have an
was
opinion.
linked to anime, and it was
It was My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
It was a voice actress, Saki Ogasawara. She had revealed on her Twitter account on this past Monday that she was returning to work after her hiatus for treatment of tongue cancer, which is
good.
a really unfortunate type of cancer to have for a voice actress.
Yeah.
But she was diagnosed with stage 1 tongue cancer, so that's nice that they caught it so early, in early April. And she took a hiatus in May for surgery and other treatments, and now she will be coming back. So that's
It was
nice.
in the notes, and I'm like, well, this is definitely anime related because we talked about a voice actor with tongue cancer, but I couldn't. She must be in like a lot of different things because I
Yes.
wasn't sure.
So there was My Hero Academia, there was Heaven's Memo Pad, The Irregular at Magic High School, which I have watched, and that one's actually a decently good one. So if you guys like the whole magic school stuff, that's
School
a
Bus.
pretty decent one to watch. And then she was in the 2nd and 3rd seasons of My Hero Academia, and then she had more minor roles, but
Coming up on the 2nd season of My Hero right now, so
Nice. That's where it gets good.
Yeah, I've only watched I don't even think I've gotten through the first episode, but I got sidetracked on like 4 different movies.
Yeah.
We
So
need to catch up before the season starts. Now, I watched the English dub of My Hero, but I'm not a stranger to this sort of thing. There's like smoking is they let cigarette companies sponsor schools in Japan, so smoking is like a big part of their culture.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
boy.
like they'll pay for the textbooks or whatever, but then they have like Marlboro logos slapped all over them. And so there are a lot of composers and voice actors that I really liked that had like throat cancer and died or something.
Well, that sounds great. So, no.
You
we
just
have
keep
to.
saying that about everything.
Well, this is great. Well, I mean, I'm
great.
glad that the smoking part's not good, but the tongue cancer
That
part,
she's-
that she is back, that's the good part, you know.
yeah.
Well, I think it's time to wrap up our live segment for KNWT. If you've been watching, thank you very much. I don't really
If you
pay
haven't,
attention.
how can you hear this?
And if you haven't, then it'd be really cool if you did once in a while. But we thank you. We'll continue with our radio segment in just a moment. But as always, you nerd it here first.